Hey guys, let's see if this is working. First, should be alright, but just make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, how's it going? I know I've been away for a couple days. It was because there was the traditional American turkey genocide holiday. So I've been away, and here's the really fun thing that happened. Seriously, yesterday I woke up with a sore throat. And I thought, oh, fucking great. And very interestingly enough, Hard Bastard also woke up sick about 2 or 3 days ago, and we haven't seen each other for 2 weeks. So, it wasn't even... we can't even blame each other for that one. Anyway, so as some of you guys may have noticed, I actually thought I should maybe cover this really briefly tonight, so I'm a little bit tired because I am working on a new video. As you guys may have heard about the Lindsay Shepherd sort of debacle that happened at Wilfrid Laurier College in Ontario, Canada. I have a lot to say about that. I also am going to talk a lot about things like self-efficacy, graduate level pedagogy, and all kinds of just fun things. But first, let me fix my mic. I think we gotta mention some shit about this magic stuff. I know I talked a little briefly about some of the things that was going on in the sort of 40k community, and part of my input on that is the fact that I have never played 40k, but what I have played is a lot of Magic. I have played a whole shitload of Magic, so I don't anymore because it's very expensive. But, I certainly did at one point, and actually I was just playing it this weekend with a friend of mine, so yeah, I was a little bit like, I think it's Ontario, yeah. Hang on, I gotta set this shit up. Sorry guys, I'm always trying to get used to this. Anyway, so I'm not too familiar with what this happened, with all that happened here. I've heard a lot of it secondhand, so I think we're going to be kind of responding to it a little bit. Just impromptu, and I would say this is if anybody on Twitter or whatever wants to get through to me to get on to this because they have maybe more information than I do, absolutely don't. Well, you can DM me if I follow you on Twitter. That's very easy. If I don't, it makes it harder because then I have to go into the requests thing and oh, someone just wait, what? Okay. But anyway, if anybody in the chat or whatever wants to get in contact, to potentially be on the stream, to have a conversation about this, this is very impromptu. This is going to be a lot of my sort of raw reaction to it. So, I'm not normally as prepared as I might be. Let's look at the chat. Oh, by the way, you guys can give me shekels on Streamlabs, and it should go through. Anyway, let's start out with essentially what happened and what I understand. Let's just start out by watching the video. First of all, maybe should I explain to everybody? Everyone here probably knows what Magic the Gathering is, but just in case you don't, it is a card game that's extremely fun and a gigantic waste of money, but a very fun waste of money. So, the quartering or unsleeved, originally he was just primarily, from my understanding, and we just added each other on Twitter, so if he wants to get on, that would be amazing, but I don't expect any of that. Originally just a Magic the Gathering sort of channel that kind of reached out. I believe he said he was, you know, interested in some of the stuff that, like, Sargon and people were doing, and I watched Sargon's video on it today, and I've seen a little bit about it, but I think that maybe... maybe, just maybe, I might have some interesting hot takes on this entire situation, given not only am I a female who has played Magic extensively, and including semi-competitively, but also a woman who cosplays. So, I think I might have some hot takes on this. I could, maybe I won't. Let's just, let's get into sort of, let's watch Quartering's video a little bit, and to get a bit of a basic rundown, since this is a stream, this was impromptu, this was just me trying to cover this while I'm sick, to get some content out, haha!
Hey everyone, I just had to upload this, hopefully quick video. There is quite a tempest in a teacup going on in the Magic the Gathering community. There's a coordinated assault to get me banned from the game currently. It is being led by the two largest Magic the Gathering YouTube channels and some of the largest Twitter handles in the game, as well as Reddit. I'm very certain that they will be successful because, well, outrage mobs work great on companies that make poor decisions and are emotionally driven, which is exactly what Wizards of the Coast is. They've already mass flagged 2 of my...
That's very true to point out. Wizards has totally made it clear that they don't give a shit anymore about trying to be fair about some of the stuff. And I'm a little bit out of it, again, because I got out of Magic. I just literally couldn't afford to fucking do it anymore. It's too expensive. But, yeah. I think Wizards, like most companies, this channel, this is the Quartering. His main, well, I guess it's Unsleeved, right, is the name of his main channel. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. Well, I have a link to it here real quick, his main channel. And it's fun, yeah, again, I don't really play Magic anymore, so I wasn't watching, like, YouTube channels on it and stuff. Yeah, Unsleeved Media is the name of his main channel, and then this was sort of like, I think, more of his outside of the direct, just reviewing Magic stuff channel, and it has, of course, caught some harsh shit from people for not maybe just playing nice with the SJWs, from my experience. And actually, it's very funny, you know, Hard Bastard told me about this channel, about Quartering's channel. Jeremy is his name, I believe. And I didn't know about it, and it's so funny because he doesn't know shit about MTG. and you know, he was telling me about that. Just like Coach Redpill was the one who actually introduced me to Diversity in Comics' channel, although he doesn't know anything about comics. Yeah, I also prefer drafting. That's actually how I got out of Magic, was because I started drafting all the time, and I was like, oh shit, why am I building decks and spending all this money when I can just draft? So let's, but I'm trying to get out of this. I did spend the weekend relearning how to play Magic with a friend of mine, being like, haha, let me teach you, and relearn myself. Hey, Perseus Gold, what's up? Let's get back into this drama, though.
Twitter account, so I don't have any way to interact with you guys right now, so I'm shooting this video. I fully expect several negative nuisances over the next couple days. They are mass flagging my videos, photoshopping pictures, and just spreading complete falsehoods, which is like part and parcel for the regressive left. They are making themselves look absolutely pathetically bad, participating in what can only be described as a targeted witch hunt against just one man. I have thousands of people attacking me right now. I'm getting calls on my cell phone. I'm getting emails telling me to die in an oil fire. My Facebook has been review bombed with 1 stars, calling me a misogynist and a sexist, and somebody said,
Quartering, you're actually in the chat. I don't know what time it is where you exist. Would you like to be on? I'd have to reset this shit up, but we could definitely we could do it. I just hopped on this because I was like feeling like what the fuck ever, because this is insane that they're doing this to you, man. And it, to me, it's particularly interesting because I have been, look, alright, I have been in so many cases the one woman playing Magic. I've also been in many cases not the only woman playing Magic. And the fact that this whole cosplay thing, and we'll get into it obviously when it gets into it, because I also have up, again, this guy, Tolarian Community College, who I've heard has a good response to it. So we can, I'm willing to listen to him and go through it and see what the fuck he has to say, because, yeah, I'm very interested. But, yeah, give my take, okay. Because I'm doing this real raw. I've heard a little bit about it, and I've seen what people have said, so, you know, this is going to be a little bit of my, yeah, just my basic thoughts. Because at least for me, you know, I agree with you a lot, at least with what I saw from this entire thing, which was that, what the fuck does cosplay have to do with any of this? Now, I don't know, I did not know, by the way, and if you guys, okay, I should probably, give you, everyone in the chat a little bit of, background. This is all because, essentially, this woman is, this cosplayer is supposedly claiming that she's been harassed. By the way, didn't know she did Nisa. I do appreciate that. because I didn't know anyone had done Nisa. But I mean, Chandra, okay, I get it. What you? All right, is this all her? You do Planeswalkers? Coolio, neat for you. I've been doing cosplay since 2011, and you know, I just have to say, so much of the shit that I hear all of these cosplayers bitch about, it's never happened to me. It's never happened to me in a decade. Over a decade of cosplaying. So I'm always a little bit TM skeptical about some of it. But also, I think you gotta grow some thicker skin. So, whatever. This girl claims she's been harassed when I believe the biggest thing was, Quartering, you essentially said that, what the fuck ever, people aren't playing Magic to look at your tits. I mean, it's like the least... It is the least important thing. I'm not saying I don't appreciate some nice art on a card, you know? I might appreciate some nice set of titties or whatever, some nice art on a card, but it's not why I'm playing Magic. I'm playing Magic because the game is fun and extremely addictive. But I think that this is the crux of this, is that there are these women who essentially want to be... They want to be in the community, but they don't want to actually learn how to play the fucking game. All right, let's go through though, and let's hear his side of it though, and we'll hear the other side, and let's try to be objective. I'll try to keep my hot takes to myself for now.
I was a sexual offender or something like that. This is the people, of course, as you probably know, who of course live in the ivory towers and enjoy what they think is the moral high ground. They would never see what they are doing to me right now as harassment. There are no wrong targets, of course, only no wrong tactics, only wrong targets. And so what happened is a grifter cosplayer that I made a video about 6 months ago posted a tweet yesterday and saying she was leaving cosplaying because of, quote, targeted harassment and repeated harassment by me. Again, I posted a single video 6 months ago memeing on her playing the victim. And
if you want to hop on, yeah, let me just all I have to do is reset up. What would I have to do? I'd have to set up Google Hangouts. It's really easy to do. Hey, Appa Ben, what's up too? Let me actually, anybody, Appa and anyone else who wants on, I set this up last fucking minute because this is whatever I do. I'm trying to work on, oh shoot, let me not do it on this tab. I'm trying to set some, I was just trying to like, I don't know what I was trying to do. I'm so professional. Let's see. If anybody wants on though, I can set up Google Hangouts. How would I do this though? I might have to restart the stream and not run it, but I don't like to not run it through OBS. Shoot. How about this? Why don't I respond to this shit? Well, I don't know. We'd have to go run through Rabbit, wouldn't we? Dang it. I'm so bad at this. Did Arch do a good video on it too? I haven't even... I'm out of it. I've been out of the game, man. I've been, 1, sick, 2, doing my stupid shit with, American Turkey genocide. So I haven't been paying attention. However, crap. How do we Discord it? Oh, Appa's in college. Well, that's dumb. Stop getting a higher education, my dude. Anyway, let's go through the video, and how about if, Quartering, if you're still on in like 10 minutes after I get through this, if you want to do Google Hangouts, we can, yeah, let me get it set up now, actually, hang on. Because I have it all set up through, freaking stupid, yeah, I know. I have it set up through OBS though, and I have to figure out how to do this. Okay. This should work, but the thing is, I'm not sure how I'll be able to... No. I would much rather have you on, dude, like, because I want to get your side, because otherwise it's me reacting to your video. I'd much rather get your take, your hot takes. Let me see. Fucking A. Hang on, let me get your information through Twitter. 1 sec. This was a very interesting stream, isn't it? Wow. I'm trying to be entertaining while I'm also trying to use the internet at the same time, and I'm very slow and not good at internet. What do I need from you? I would need... Yeah, I'll need an email for Hangouts. I think that's what I need. We can talk tomorrow too, Appa. Like, whatever. Let's just, Yeah, I'll present the Hangout. It's not presenting the Hangout that's the issue. It's that I can't then play... Oh, I can! Wait, I can! I can, actually. I can do that. Wait, what is showing up on my screen right now? Okay. Oh, right, I have not subscribed. I'm sorry. Here you go. My bad. It makes me feel awful. Yeah, alright, well now I'm subscribed. Fuck off. You saw me do it live. We'll do it live! This is, again, I don't, I haven't paid any attention to Magic in a couple of years. I mean, to be completely fucking honest, even though they did bring back Ravnica, and I wanted to get back into it, and they brought back Zendikar, and I was like, I wanted to get back into it during both of those sets, and then I was like, yeah, but money. Okay, let me send you a link. Let me send this up. How do I do this? You guys are gonna have to, like, watch me be retarded on air. Oh, God, okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, I really am retarded. Okay. Jesus, this is making me look like the most unprofessional, worst YouTuber ever. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That should be it. And then... I'm very fucking retarded. Okay. Whoop. Whoop, that's not right either. Wow, I'm totally not doing this right. God, I'm really awful. Alright, okay. If this works, that should be okay. I think it should be set up decently. I did send you, according, I did send you a link to this, I think. Let me try it again if it didn't work. Okay. Well, either or. They didn't go live, did it? No. Because no one else came in. Alright. Okay. My voice is coming through, yeah. Well, there's no one else here right now. But, let's, whoop. Jesus. Yeah, this is my inability to do anything right. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, also, if you do want to do... I can't take super chats. I can't take super chats because this is the new thing. But, because this is my secondary channel. But I can still unplug and... Oh no, did it die? Oh shit, really? Hmm? Somebody help me troubleshoot, I'm retarded. I have no idea what's even a problem. Like, people are saying there's a problem, and I can't even... Now, this is why I can't be allowed to do things on the fly. Press button N. What? I don't know, people in the chat are saying something died. I'm trying to react. I'm not actually, I'm all good. Anyway, okay, because whatever, people are doing... I think people are trying to troll me, so... excuse you, I won't listen to your filthy lies anymore. Let's just continue listening to this, okay? We will continue to listen to the rest of the video. How about that? Okay?
I've probably tweeted maybe 2 or 3 times since. Of course, this corresponds with a popular Magic personality, Jeff Hoogland, creating another outrage mob the other day. Let me show you. This is from November 24th. Now he's saying, hey, Wizards of Magic, how many community members are you willing to lose before you take a hard stance on this being hateful? It was me, it was a tweet where I said, makes sense, this guy does a pretty good job cosplaying the card. It's a woman, everyone knows it's a woman, so apparently this is hateful.
Oh, I don't know if I would say everyone knows that's a woman, inherently. But whatever.
Targeted harassment. But this isn't, right? What he's doing isn't. He also, a few days ago, here we go. Where is this? On November 23rd, Dear Wizards, why hasn't this player been DCI banned yet for harassment on social media? If posting pictures of ass cracks gets people banned, so should half the things this guy tweets. This is, of course, a video of me memeing on the head of R&D for Wizards of the Coast, saying a Twitter poll that literally said 70% of women or something like that had experienced sexual harassment. I pointed out just how...
I don't know. By the way, I can't speak for, obviously, every woman in, any of these communities. That's an absurdity. But I can say that having been in Magic or whatever, and all of these games for a very long time, and played them for a long time, and cosplayed for a very long time, I have never experienced what I would consider to be sexual harassment. And I know the obvious, and by the way, it would be women who would make this claim first, too, pretty much, like, oh, you must be, like, super fat. Nah, not at all. It's just that I really don't, I don't consider things like, hey, you look nice in that costume to be equivalent of sexual harassment. Hey, what's up? Hey, let me, get this set back up to the right thing, then. Quartering, how's it going? Yeah, I'm sure it is. So I'm a little bit on the outside. It's interesting, and the chat can tell me if my audio is coming through weird here or if everything's going okay. But so shit. It's funny to me. Not funny. Jesus, that's the wrong word. I've been outside of Magic on a serious level for not a long time, but a couple of sets now for sure, and this is so bizarre, particularly for this cosplay thing to be happening, that I would never have imagined this being real. Maybe a couple of years ago?
Yeah, well, it's weird, right? I think the same couple of people have been cosplaying in this community for a while, at least the ones that are, like, paid, right? Paid by, flown around by Wizards of the Coast and stuff. It's just basically Ashlyn Rose, and I think her name's Ashlyn Rose, and Sprankle. That's kind of it.
Right, it seems like it is just like, well, it's always going to be a couple people I've always noticed who are going to be upset by this kind of thing. Generally speaking, and I mean, obviously this is going to be an overgeneralization and not applied to everybody, but my experience has been, having played Magic in game stores, you know, for over a decade, is that never once was I turned away, nor was I sexually harassed, nor in any way felt ostracized from the community over any of that. So I think a lot of this is an attention-seeking thing, and particularly when it comes to what happened between you and this woman, where it was again a video that you made like 6 months ago about it, and she now says because of that she's going to delete herself from cosplay, essentially.
Yeah. Convenient, right? I mean, it must have been an incredibly slow burn.
I guess so. I mean, I didn't know her. I had actually seen her, shoot, what's the, white soldier planeswalker she does? I can't think of the planeswalker's name.
Elspeth?
Elspeth. I'd seen that costume before, I think. And, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. I didn't know she did Nisa. I'm a big fan of Nisa Ravani. I certainly have used that planeswalker.
Yeah.
But then again, it's weird because with a lot of this shit, and I mean, I know this always comes off as mean to them, and I've been in the cosplay community for a long time, where even if you start to criticize women and say, like, do you play the game, or do you do the things that you're cosplaying from, they'll take that as an insult. And I don't know about this woman, but if I was so into, as I am, if I was so into Magic that I would want to dress up as characters from it, I wouldn't take somebody making some, like, passive, you know, the dressing up in lingerie is not the reason we're sitting around playing this game as something that's going to drive me off.
Yeah, it's I think with her in particular, she even admitted in her, like, I think 1 or 2 posts before she posted about me that she just like broke up with her boyfriend. Oh. So I you know, I mean, it was like a series of 3 tweets where she's like, oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Oh, and serial harasser. I'm not her boyfriend, or, you know, it seems like misplaced anger to me. I tweeted out a pretty interesting graph. There's a website called, I don't know what the hell it's called, but it graphs Patreons, the number of somebody's patrons over time, just like Social Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious, like, all-time low of patrons as of November 20th in the last, well, it's all-time low. And then that's when she decides to quit. And then there's a huge spike when she harassment. Well, it seems pretty convenient.
Right, I see that a lot with a lot of these kinds of people where it's sort of like, oh, no one's paying attention to me, let me do something to get a little bit of attention. So I think that's probably what this is, yeah?
I hope so. I mean, I feel bad for her, because if she really believes this, like, what a terribly frightening life she must lead. But
oh, absolutely.
I hope she's just an evil genius. That's what I'm going with. I think she's just played it perfectly.
I'll tell you what, and this is, you know, from my perspective, is that I've been, like, planning to cosplay Nisa Ravane for years, but I've not done it because a number of reasons. One, I just don't have the time or money, but also, I think one thing about Magic and cosplay, and I've noticed this, particularly when the Planeswalker characters started to get a lot of attention, was when I first started seeing cosplay from Magic, because before then we didn't maybe have as iconic singular cards that were going to last across sets, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair to say.
So I think that it was as interesting as the Planeswalker idea was, and particularly in the lore, for, like, I mean, there were characters that had lasted long-term in the lore, but they were novel characters that didn't necessarily have like images and as much fan art and stuff made of them. So I think that this opened up the door, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to say it, for cosplayers to come through and be like, I can latch on and do one of these characters, and that's fine. But at the same time, magic was one of those things that up until that point had not really been infiltrated in the same way that things like games and anime and TV shows that have definitive long-term representations of characters that I can dress up as this and everyone will know who I am. And even then, afterwards, magic is such a... I don't know. I don't see people showing up at EVO in cosplay too much, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty astute observation. I didn't really connect those two things, but I think that's very true. And it's like, to be clear, my opinion on cosplay is that I think it's cool. I think it's cool that people do it. What I don't like is when people, the Patreon. So many of these cosplayers have these like, pay a few extra bucks for lewds. And like, they want me to call them an artist, and it's not. You're basically a prostitute at that point. And I think fans doing cosplay is awesome. Doing it as a profession, probably also cool. But I see, and the whole purpose, I was so fired up in this video. Sorry, it's kind of been a long night. I hope I don't go too.
Oh, go ahead.
All over the place. But I really do look out for the young men in this community and young women, but particularly in this case, the young men that I see, thirsting after this sort of thing. And I don't know. I think Sargon put it as a way as like they're convinced it's a way of like pre-courting to start, becoming patrons of these cosplayers who dress up like their favorite magic artist. And it's probably just me being too overprotective. I mean, people spend their money on whatever and they're entitled to do so, but it's probably overly critical by just wanting to make sure everyone really understood what was going on with the donations for pictures and for personalized pictures and actually this kind of thing.
I don't think you're wrong at all, nor do I think you're being overly protective, because you are looking at men often, and women, again, to a much lesser extent, who don't necessarily have a lot of experience dealing with women, and it's this woman who is dressing up as a very obscure thing from a hobby that is, it's like, oh wow, I think to these people, it's forming this parasocial sort of interaction relationship with them, where it's, you're speaking to me on some level because I feel as though we have a connection because you're dressed up as this obscure weird thing that only me and my friends know about, and something that I've actually sought out as a hobby, as a way to escape from some of the more aggressive sort of social dynamics of men and women that I as a young man don't necessarily fit into very well. So, or a young woman, either or, it doesn't matter. But I think predominantly in this field, obviously we do see it dominated by men. And of course, this is, for me, because I was very socially awkward, I gravitated to things like Magic and other tabletop games and video games in general for similar reasons, although disparate. But it is essentially a form of prostitution, and it's disingenuous because it gives off, I don't know.
Hard to take. Oh, sorry, I was just to say it's hard to take what I'm so protective of. It's like, I think smart cosplayers will see a space with weak men as a place to move in and profit. Mm-hmm. And hashtag not all. Mm-hmm. But that's what really makes me angry, is like these women come in and are immediately deities, and it's not long before they have a Patreon, and I'm supposed to believe that, oh, you're just a fan of the game and you've been playing since you were a wee little girl, and this is just Ooh, what a wonderful dream. I've always loved Magic. Now I get to dress up like Magic's favorite characters and get flown all over the country by Wizards of the Coast and get thousands of dollars donated a month to me for Patreon. It was just a dream. Like, I would have way more respect if like they were more like Tara Babcock and were like, hey, this is who I am, deal with it, versus trying to pretend like they're, just a long time fans being, so blessed to be able to also make money doing it.
Right, and it's kind of like weird to me too, because I started cosplaying when I was like a very underage teenager, and I never asked for money doing any of it because I would never have done that. This is not what that's not what cosplay was about. It's totally changed in some ways, in that, again, I wouldn't find it, and one of the things that is disconcerting to me is that it's like, oh, you don't believe me? You don't believe that I'm into this thing? It's like, okay, tell me about the kind of decks you run then. Why don't you talk to me about that kind of shit? Why don't we play a game, or why don't, if it's not outside of Magic, with the, I did not know very much about Warhammer. It had been something I had avoided because it was too expensive, and if Magic got to be too expensive for me, Warhammer was way outside of my ability. And, but, when I started looking into it and getting interested in it, it was, yeah, it's interesting to me, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. And with Magic, it's very easy. It's very simple, I think, to talk to another person who plays Magic about the kind of cards they like, the kind of decks they like to run, and if you can't speak to those sorts of things, it comes off as disingenuous to me, and I don't trust people like that. I think that there are legitimate women and men and people who like cosplay and see it as an expression of themselves and being like, I love this thing and I want to bring it to life, because that's what I do. But it also is so rife to be exploitative. Particularly for young men who think, oh, this woman, she's hot, she's got big titties, she's showing them off. If I give her $5, she's gonna show them to me. I think that's, yeah, at the very least, that's exploitive. And I'm sorry for that woman. If, she really did feel as though she was being chased away, I'm sorry. But, if you really cared about the hobby, I don't think it would chase you away, would be my counter. Jeremy, you there? Oh, I lost connection. Shoot. Well, maybe I insulted Jeremy, or maybe he had to go. I would say real quick, though, because of that, Seashell fan. Oh, hey! You're back. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
So, yes, all I ever knew about cosplay was like, of cosplayers were like super fans.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't necessarily have a problem with people having Patreons, but it just seems like you look through the rewards and it's like, geez, like some of these cosplayers are bringing in 20 grand a month, and like literally all the rewards are like, pay me more and you get like sexier photos. And, it seems unfair to purity test people, these cosplayers, for example. But, you're right. Even the most casual Magic player can have Magic-related banter. And it's like you just never see it from these folks.
Haha, let me talk about my white weenie deck or some shit. Come on, like...
Yeah.
And it's weird, yeah, because there's a lexicon to Magic and to any nerd hobby that you would expect someone to have a basic understanding of. And if I feel like they can't even... I couldn't even make a casual joke to you about something like that. Again, I don't like the purity testing either, because I have seen that happen to me a little bit on a bit more of an obnoxious level with comic books, because I'm a big comic book fan. And I remember one time I was in, one time, so it's a once out of years, where a guy came up to me in a comic book store, and he did start to quiz me, and was quizzing me about, like, you know, different things. It's like, okay, the guy had autism or something, and I did my best to keep up with it, but you know what, that guy would have done that to me, regardless of whether or not I was a woman. He would have done that to another guy, probably, because that's
probably
who he is. And I think you gotta have really thin skin to think, oh, it's something about my femaleness that made this uncomfortable person do that.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's probably going to be, you know, I think this gets unfairly related to people's sex sometimes. Unless, like, it's more about, hey, here's somebody that doesn't look anything like the normal person that I see every single day. And that's new. It's not necessarily bad, but people are, like, more curious. And I don't know how to describe it. To me, it'd be like if I was playing at F&M and dressed like all men and women show up for F&M, which is like comfortable clothes, you know? And then somebody showed up in like a 3-piece suit. I wonder, and then bought some magic cards. I bet you the person behind the counter would be like, weird. That's not what normal Magic players look like. And so they ask questions, but then people, you know, get offended. And it's, I don't know. I don't see it as that big of a deal.
I also think that it betrays a lack of understanding of actually having participated in this stuff. Because my entire life, going to F&Ms, for example, I've almost never been the only woman at an F&M. It's pretty rare.
I draft. For a long time, I've drafted with a very small pod. Sometimes it's 1, maybe 2, but it's totally not uncommon for girls to be there. It's not like that. People portray Magic players. This is why I get so aggressive too. I had this problem with Mark Rosewater because he quoted a Twitter poll that said, you know, as scientific evidence that 72% of men in Magic assault women that play Magic.
Well, what the fuck? Yeah, I was getting to that.
Yeah, what the fuck? I hate when, like, these guys are so baited out that they, like, hate men, and they put I mean, how could even a rational person, I just don't care what it says. Like, how do you're the head of R&D and you quote a Twitter poll and then you just shit on all the men in your game? Like, I get so angry with that.
You have to remember this a couple years ago then, where there was he was he was a major competitive player who got on, and I'm forgetting the context, where this competitive player, he actually was, I thought he'd won like a worldwide championship, got onto Tinder or some kind of thing with a woman, and
Brian Kibler.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And
Jesus
she roasted
Christ.
him.
And then got upset after the fact, and people were like, "You horrible bitch, you shallow cunt." If only you knew how much money he had won for playing this stupid nerd game. Unbelievable. And I mean, that kind of does show you how this has accelerated and exacerbated as an entire idea in this community, or whatever you want to call it, where that was probably, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Where, and if people who don't know in the chat, it was a woman found a professional or former professional Magic player on Tinder or some kind of dating website. And as soon as she found, and he had a lot of money and treated her to dinner, and as soon as she found out that he played Magic, she kicked him to the curb and said, "You're a weirdo loser." And then felt remorse for it after the fact when she realized he had all this sort of money and fame.
Didn't she? I think she also like wrote some shitty blog post or something about him or something.
Yeah.
Like
afterwards, she wanted the D afterwards when she realized that he had more than that. It wasn't just a shitty, stupid nerd game. Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it. That it was.
Yeah,
more
it
than
doesn't matter. Yeah, it's like, see, like even if a normie called it that, right? Like. You play Magic and you can call it a shitty nerd game, and it's like, yeah, it's funny. Like, we get it.
Because, we're used to it, you know?
Yeah. But, like, even if a normie says that, I don't get offended. I'm like, who cares? But these, a lot of these people, you know, they see that, and they're just, it's assault, it's harassment, it's bullying, it's I don't know how they got so fragile.
Well, I don't think I don't think they are the original intended audience. I think these are people who have come into this because they see an opportunity, not because they're interested in the content. You know.
Oh yeah, totally like comics too, right? I mean, these people move in. It's one of my good friends here on Twitter, Tara Sophia, shout out girl, who's often come to my defense, and it would be unfair to say that I'm not especially thankful for her because she is trans, and so she's often like willing to, stick up for me against because this is a thing when the Magic community too, calling me a transphobe or something like that. But anyway, she said, sorry, there's something about these people that move into the community and then say it's unwelcoming. It's like there's a common thread with all these people. They move into a community and then they say it's not welcoming.
Well, if you're coming into a community of people and you are very aggressive towards them, is it a surprise that they don't want to welcome you with open arms when you're coming in and saying, I just know because of things about you, like your race or your gender or whatever, that you're going to be discriminatory? Then is it any wonder that they're kind of like, maybe, like, I don't really want to play with you that much, you know? And I have to say, and that's very unusual, because every community, from comics to Magic to every, these more nerdy sort of things that I've ever been involved with my entire adult life, and I mean now for decades, have all been very open and welcoming to me, as long as I was open and welcome and wanting to be a part of them.
Isn't that, I think that's really, that statement carries a lot more weight than just the words itself, because it's like when you're part of a fandom, we smell our own.
Yeah.
And, we know. And then when somebody from the outside comes in, I don't have any other way, it sounds mean, but we know. We know.
But
like,
you
you're
want
not,
to
you're
also do that, but you do, like, there's an element, though, of the fandom that also says, all you have to do is just display that little bit of, well, tell me about that. Explain it. Show me how to play. And I'd be like, oh my god, sit down. Let me get you in deck.
Totally Magic players, too. Every time I go to, like, a pre-release and there's new players or returning players, they ask a question. If there's, like, 8 guys or 8 people at the table, everyone just drops their stuff and they're like, holy crap, yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, this is how this, like, you're right. If you come in and you're actually interested, the community is so incredibly welcoming.
I mean, I've known so many, and like judges even too. Like, I mean, anybody on any level. I've known judges at Magic, and down to just basic, normal, like, people who only played once or twice, and it doesn't matter the level of Magic that you know. It's that, you're interested in this thing that I like? Oh my god, let me tell you all about it. And it's this incredible overpouring and overflowing of excitement to tell someone else and explain to someone else this thing that you really enjoy and it's made you happy, to share it with them.
That's so one of the, it's so crazy with Magic how it's still that powerful. Like, 12 million, 20 million players, and like I'll be meeting with a client or something, and if I saw like a pack of Magic cards on the desk, I'd be like, holy crap. And like, just immediate, like, the conversation immediately just stops being about business and would start being about Magic.
Oh, absolutely. Like, again, my friend came to visit me over the last week, and he had never played Magic, and I said, I've got 2 decks. Let me just show you I've got 2 set up that are broken. They're both horribly broken, totally out of standard decks. I'll just show you. Let's just fuck around with these things, and I'll show you how basically to play it. And it totally reinvigorated me a little bit to be like, man, I could go out, maybe I should go to a draft this Friday, you know? Like, that's the kind of thing. It gets you involved in that. And that's the kind of passion that you see in all of these hobbies, that when it comes to people that... I'm sorry, and again, I don't like the purity testing either, but there's just a certain level where if I see you being a little tiny thing, like someone being mean to you on the internet would make you say, I now hate this hobby. To me, that says... You
never liked it.
You didn't like it in the first place, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't just like Magic the Gathering. You know, like, you love it. Just like a lot of hobbies. You know, like, you put all of that aside once you've actually been into a game store and met with people. And you can have a bad game store, but you find another one. Or you have, you know, when Sargon was here, just to piggyback on your how getting reinvigorated is, when he was here, we talked about playing Magic. And when we met in between his MythCon speech, and we played like one game, and he hadn't played in like 5 years. You could just see it in his eye. And before like I knew it, we met up at like 4. We had to both be back to the hotel by 9. It was like 8:50 something, like 5 minutes before we had to leave, and we were on our like 20th game. And we were playing all sorts of different intro decks or dual decks that I brought, and he was like completely re-enthralled. When you play Magic, it's just like, it is literally like riding. You take years off. I've taken as many as 10 years off in a row, and you come back and it's just like the same old amazing thing.
It is. And because it's crazy, because when did I first start playing Magic? Oh, shit. I don't want to think about that. That'll make me feel old.
Yeah.
But the last time I was playing really seriously was around Zendikar and Eldrazi, was when I was playing really seriously. And then they re-came out with... Ravnica was my favorite sets, and they re-came out with Ravnica, and I was like, oof, gotta get back into that a little bit. Because I'm a big Mill fan. But, you know,
nice. Me too. Casuals for life.
Right. But that's the thing, though, is that if we can have a conversation, see, like, that's like 3 words that were exchanged there that explained an understanding of this game, right?
Right,
and
right.
Don't see that with these people who are saying things like, "Oh no, I'm being targeted by these harassment campaigns," and
yeah, you know, I mean, it's like it's also, you know, Magic players kind of have, I mean, I only know you from your videos, but you seem like me to have superior ball busting skills.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's like something you do, right? You're like, your deck's crap, or you play control, you fucking loser.
Well, control's not necessarily. Hang on.
And like, you know, there's just no way some of these people. I mean, they couldn't handle it. They'd be like, no, you know, they just, you can just tell.
Right, because they don't even understand. They don't even have the lexicon. They don't have the vocabulary to understand like why. Like if I was gonna, I don't know, if I was gonna make fun of, like a mono white flyer deck and be like, which is a traditional Magic meme, right?
Yeah, right.
Old school Magic meme of white flyers, you know, 1/1s, whatever. Ha ha ha! Isn't that funny? But like,
it is funny though.
But I mean, like, that's like an old Magic meme. But they don't even, and I'm not saying you have to be old school to know like an older. Because I don't know, that hasn't necessarily been as much of a meme as it is. It wouldn't be.
That's a total casual normie meme, though. Like,
right.
Kitchen tabletop players still know that meme and know it well.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you can't even get like the most basic, and again, I don't want to be a gatekeeper because that's not fun, but that is not how this hobby actually works.
Or any hobby, right?
No.
Like, can you imagine going to?
Desperation of wanting to get people into it.
Yeah. Imagine walking into your local comic book shop and you walk up to a group of, you know, for diversity's sake, you know, 2 guys, 2 girls of equally varying races. and they're all reasonably active comic book fans. And you walked up and you were like, hey, comic book fans, how'd you guys like that latest Squirrel Girl? Like, they would just know
Right.
that you're not into comic books. You're into social justice, and comic books is the pizza toppings, you know, or the way you choose to ingest your social justice.
Because, yeah, again, and we both described this, but seriously, the only reason I never got into Warhammer, not because I wasn't encouraged, the only reason I didn't get into Warhammer is because I said, okay, how much would it cost me to build an army? And they said, $200. And I said, well, I can build like 3 Magic decks for that. Or I can just play a bunch of drafts and then sell my cards and build the deck I'd like to build.
Yeah, exactly.
So Magic was
you can't afford, I mean,
financially
are expensive.
Yeah,
you have to choose between them. Like, if you can afford to play Warhammer and Magic, you're probably single. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but no. I just mean not cheap.
No, they're expensive hobbies, but I was never discouraged. And I remember even back in the day, back maybe 10 years ago now, 2007, 2006, hearing people online hearing women in my social circle saying, I feel like I can't get into comics. I feel like I can't get into Magic. I feel like I can't get into Warhammer because it's a man's thing. And I thought, have you been to a game shop? Have you been to a Games Workshop? Have you been to a card store? People
it's so absurd, yeah.
They'll fall over themselves trying to teach you how to do it,
Yeah, especially with like Warhammer, for example. It's such a good point. Like, or Magic, for example, my Friday night Magic, we had Wednesday night draft, and there were some Wednesdays we wouldn't get 8 people, so the draft wouldn't fire. So everyone would get there at 6 o'clock. We'd stand around with our dicks in our hands, hoping to get 8 people, and then it'd be like 7:59, and there'd only be 6 people, and all of us would be like,
still
crap,
run a draft
and we'd go
6.
home. Yeah, and like, could you if somebody walks in the store at 7:59, it's like, hey, I've sort of played Magic and I'd like to learn how to draft. Everyone would be like, so happy.
They would lose their minds.
Yeah.
Everyone would, go crazy trying to teach that new person how to play it. Which is why, to me, I don't believe, and I know that you're supposed to listen to believe all the time. I don't believe that there's a whole lot of validity to much of this ostracization that they claim happens. Now, the cosplay thing, I get it on some level. I'm sure that lewd things have been said to you, okay? You also post pictures of you shaking your ass and showing off your nipples. So it's kind of like...
right. It's one of those things, right? I agree. Like, I'm sorry if some little kid tells you got a boner from your semi-nudes. Like, okay. Like, are you damn... I mean, then you should be doing cosplay as a priestess. Like, why like, if you're worried about that.
Well, right. But it's so bizarre because, I think that this Magic was it was the undiscovered country, sort of, for cosplay. We've taken over everything else. Where has no one, what genre has no one taken over with cosplay? And I will speak to that, actually, as someone who has used cosplay forums for a very long time, is that there are women and men, but for the vast majority women, who basically ask around and say, what has not been cosplayed where you think I could make a living? I'm not joking. I
totally
believe it. Where do you think I could get that? Where do you think I could find attention? And I remember back, 2010, where I thought, I think maybe I'll cosplay Nisa Ravane, I think was when she came out, and I was like, I think I'll do that. And then I started to see all this Magic cosplay come out, and I went, ooh, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pass. I mean, I might still like to do it, but if I'm going to go to a tourney, I'm going to a tourney to play, not to be in a costume.
Well, that's it, right? Part of the things I meme on with the cosplayers is, like, GPs will, like GP Vegas, the biggest Grand Prix of the year, paid to fly her out. Now, that was probably $3,000-$4,000. They also paid for her time to be there. They paid for many cosplayers to be there. I can guarantee you there's probably less than 10 people out of 7,000 that paid for a ticket just to see cosplayers. And that was money that they could have put in a pretty weak prize pool, or they could have given better, I I don't know, upgrades when you check in, or give everyone a granola bar and a bottle of water, or charge $10 less to get in. And
Sure.
like, you just, it's just so annoying that it's almost like, it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, these creepers that work at these conventions or whatever, work for these conventions, are like, maybe if I hire these cosplayers, they'll go out with me. Or
It's
like,
not
I mean,
new.
that's how it looks. I mean, I just don't know why you would spend money on that.
It's not new. It's been going on for a long time. I remember, now back, geez, 7 years
Oh, be
ago.
careful.
Oh, I have real stories, unfortunately, with real people. Yaya Han, you may know. Yaya Han is a very famous cosplayer, and I have worked with her at conventions. No one will know who I am because I have worked at so many cons, but it was the same thing where it was these cosplayers. To me, it's so bizarre because to me, cosplay is an well, it's not an elevated. It's just you're a booth babe who walks around.
Yeah.
Or to me, what I do when I do cosplay is I love this thing. I love it. And I don't care if someone takes pictures of me or not, and I don't care if I end up getting money. I don't require any money for it. It's just something I do as a hobby. And there are still cosplayers like that, but they have become more and more the minority. It's a very strange situation because when I first started cosplaying back in the early 2000s, everyone was, I'm just cosplaying because I'm a weird nerd and I want to show how much I like a thing. And it just kind of changed over time to being, I'm a woman who wants attention and money.
Yeah, there's something about these cosplayers, on one hand, they, hashtag not all, but the ones I see, on one hand, they dress up scantily clad. On the other hand, they complain about being objectified. on the third hand, they collect Patreon money and take appearance fees and pretend to like something they don't like so that people will worship them. Like, I think of many cosplayers, at least professional ones, are pretty gross opportunists, and I don't know. I'm very protective of my young Magic players. I was talking to Sargon. He said the same thing. Like, look, yeah, we're both older. I really was just trying to look out. Like, did it come across a little too salty? Yes, probably. But I stand by it. Saying that, you're not adding a lot of value just by having Patreon for sexy poses and all sorts of other crap.
No,
like that.
I find that actually very disturbing. No, I think you're completely right, and you're completely correct in that this is a very easy way for some women to very much manipulate young men in terms of, I can get money from you because I pretend to be into the same thing you're into. That's not hard to do, and also it is disturbing because they don't have to actually be into anything. It's just I dress up as it.
Yeah, it's got to be really addicting for them. Like, people transfer their love of a character to you, which already must feel awesome, and then they also give you money. Like, it's got to be pretty awesome to be them.
I guess. I mean, for me, when I would cosplay something and I would be in a hall or in a room or whatever, and someone would walk up to me and say something like, I'm so happy you would do this. That's what I would like. And if they would even recognize the character I would do, because as I got older, and this, so here I'm gonna like throw out my indie cred. As I got older, I stopped cosplaying recognizable characters, but that became doing more things like, oh, should I cosplay like Magic the Gathering characters or cards? And I didn't do that. I don't know why. I wanted to, because I thought about Chandra and I thought about Nisa, because people now would know who these characters are a little bit, but that's still very obscure. And again, what I think it is that I noticed this over time, is that these cosplay competitions, right? They started getting more and more money, not just the competitions themselves, but the Patreon buckaroos started to come in. That did not exist when I started this hobby. When I started this hobby in 2002, 2003, no such thing existed. of cosplay, I mean. And now all of a sudden, it's all this money coming in. It's, for example, the Blizzard big convention, the
yeah, BlizzCon.
$50,000, I believe, is the prize money. Maybe 100,000, something like that, for the cosplay contest. It's an enormous pot, huge amounts of money.
Yeah, it's it's tough because there's a line actually for me. Like, I went to Gen Con this year, and people almost got my. I had a press pass, and this is why I can't ever announce on my YouTube channel when I'm visiting anymore, because people called and said I was like bringing a gun, and they revoked my press pass the day before. But that's, I mean,
you sound like a horrible psychopath, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it's because I posted a picture of my legally owned gun on my Instagram, and people sent it to the press department. Luckily, the CEO of Gen Con bailed me out the last second. But anyway, there were tons of people there cosplaying. None of them were getting paid, and the people's reaction was so awesome. Like, I legitimately saw what you described happen hundreds of times in the 3 days, where like somebody just couldn't believe that somebody cosplays this obscure thing that they were really into, and they were like, "Oh my god, can I take a picture?" Like, I think that's awesome.
It's happened
and that
to me
part of
countless
cosplay I
times.
like.
It is the best feeling when people ask me, "Why do you cosplay?" I say every time, it's because that's the best feeling in the world, where you make somebody's day because they go, "Oh my god, blank," you know, whoever you are.
Yeah, that's got to be cool. I definitely, like, people misconstrue my opinion on cosplay, but I guess well, yeah, I guess I want my cosplayers to be purists. I don't like commercial cosplayers, I guess I'll say.
Well, welcome to why I stopped using CGL, the cosplay board on 4chan. Because basically all of a sudden, overnight, as I viewed it, between like 2006 and 2008, oh god, it had been that long. 2008, maybe 2012.
Man, you are old.
I'm very old. Thanks. Fuck you. But old school shit was, it basically went in my brain overnight from being like, this is a passion project, to how do I maximize my ability to make money? How do I maximize my ability to become famous? And I was sitting there like, I'm trying to spend $500 to make a costume 3 people will appreciate.
Yeah. That's what a hobby's supposed to be. You're supposed to lose a ton of money.
Exactly. I'm gonna make this costume. It's gonna make me feel happy, and like 3 other people on the planet will be like, "Oh, that's also very cool." That's what any true hobby is about, including cosplay. It's just that cosplay has the added look at my ass element to it, which obviously attracts a certain type of individual.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are creepers, and then there are people that cash in on creepers, and it's almost like I don't feel bad for either one of them, but it's when they like claim to be the victim that I get angry. And I'm like, no. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, and I think with this woman, I looked at her cosplay. I went and looked at it because I didn't know her. I had seen some of it before. I'd seen her Elspeth, yeah. I didn't know she'd done Nisa, which was nice, and she'd done Chandra Nalar as well.
Yeah, she's fine. I mean, I think she's decent at it, you know.
Yeah, like, they're nice costumes. They seem well done, but I don't think you get to act like you're the arbiter of. Well, maybe that's not what she's doing, but to act like oh no, someone was mean to me, so now I'm going to leave the magic community.
She's taking her ball and going home.
Are you into magic, or are you just into cosplaying magic characters because you're the only one doing it?
That's a solid point. That's a sick burn, because I think it's entirely that statement. I don't think she could answer without being entirely transparent. It's like, if you were really into the magic community, why would you just leave it?
I mean, it's not affected me. Like, You know,
she's gonna go move and do something else, right? She'll cosplay. She'll find something even smaller with more betas to control, like currently 40K, and they'll move into 40K.
Because for me, yeah, I have to say, I guarantee. Actually, let me look. Let me look. I will.
Oh, you know the
I'm gonna
cosplay holders
I'm gonna go into my cosplay folder and see if I have a picture of her Elspeth saved on my good cosplay folder. But I haven't updated this since 2013, so she's probably been doing this then for 5 years. 4 years maybe.
Yeah, I think when she did Elspeth was probably the Theros Elspeth.
It was it was the very first.
Yeah. Well, there was Knight Errant way back in the day, and then there was Elspeth Sun's Champion, which is I think what she probably did.
Yeah, I guarantee I have it saved in my nice cosplay folder. But the whole idea would be, yeah, like you found a sort of niche, whatever, where you could take control. But if you really gave a shit, it would be the same as me, where it's like I don't play Magic I'm not gonna play Magic at least on a daily basis for a year or two, and then you pull out a deck, and I'm gonna be exactly as into it as I was, 3 years ago, because I enjoy playing this game. So,
well, I'm so old. I come from a forgotten era of going to the store and wanting to buy Magic cards and then having them like be sold out.
Where they were sold, so that would have been, when did I first start buying Magic cards? Around the early 2000s. So
yeah, I started in Revised, so 1994.
Oh shit! Then you're way before me.
You think, I'm the Cole on the street.
All right, you got some age on me then.
Yeah. Listen, sit down, Red Buck. Let me teach you something here. But back in the day, I used to go to the card shop, and this is when Revised was out, right before Ice Age. Right.
Oh, but Ice Age is so good.
One of the best sets ever. Yeah, beautiful set. And you would either the game store would either have, most of the time they'd be sold out. If they did have it, they would limit you to one booster pack, because so many people wanted it, and he wanted to like not disappoint as many people. Fast forward to like now, where you can buy Magic cards at freaking Meijer, and Walmart, Walgreens has them. Right. Yeah, it's so crazy to me, and that does make me a bit of a curmudgeon. I'm like, these kids, man. Like these kids.
Get it. I mean, I get it. Yeah. And it's funny because I get curmudgeonly over like, people don't know about original Mirrodin.
Yeah.
Which is like
one of the most powerful sets of all time.
Oh, Mirrodin. I love Mirrodin. I miss Mirrodin, and Ravnica were two of my favorite sets. But
Ravnica's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, if you're a fan of Mill, no shit.
Yeah, Dimir is great in that set. Yeah, Black Blue. Yeah.
Black Blue is my shit. But yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. How many words were exchanged between us in that? Like.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Very basic understanding, because we both understand how magic works. And doesn't matter because even though so many things have changed about the game over the course of the last 30 years or whatever, essentially it's almost been 25 years, the core elements are still more or less there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming back. I took a break. Let me think. I played till like 6th edition, 7th edition. I quit because I didn't understand why they were reprinting so many cards, and I was young. Like, I started playing Magic when I was 14, maybe 13, 14. And so like $3 was a lot of money to me.
Right. And
so you buy, that was all my money. I would go to the store. I would have to sit there when my mom grocery shopped. I'd wait till the very end and just beg her to stop at the card store on the way home.
Oh, I remember this shit.
Yeah. Like, that's so old, we'd rent a video game from the grocery store, and then I'd have $3 left over. I'm like, I just want to get a Magic card.
You get one pack of cards, and oh my god, the amount of like, please, like, have some.
Yeah, right. And then it's like you get a bunch of reprints, and you're like,
shit.
Shit.
Right.
So anyway, I took like 10 years off, and then I came back. And I was like, what the hell are fucking planeswalkers. What the fuck is this?
Right. No,
But
I mean,
it's for the game, never.
right, because I was playing. So Mirrodin was when, like 2002, 2003.
Early 2000s, I think, is right.
And I played that a little bit when
Mirrodin
I was
block,
around that
Scars
age.
of Mirrodin?
Yeah, yeah. I played it around then, and then I didn't. I played for a bit, and I didn't play again until. And then M10 and Zendikar, I got way into it. And I was into it about 5 years then. Around that.
Zendikar was. You were playing in a good time. Zendikar, original Ravnica.
Oh, Zendikar.
Yeah.
Between Ravnica and Zendikar, yeah, it was about when I was playing. It's like, oh, that was the best. And that was a great just era. And then after Eldrazi, I was kind of like, you put out some really insane shit. I think I'm going to take
you know what?
A step back.
Would it surprise you? Would it surprise? Sorry, I'm getting all excited here. would it surprise you to know, like, as somebody who, I mean, this is like what I cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're a part of a huge group of players that quit around that time.
Yeah.
Because the set was too fucking powerful.
That's the problem. Yeah.
And everyone hated it.
Right. No, it was the problem with the Eldrazi were so. I put basically like what I still have, even when I was teaching my friend to play the other day, is I've got a mono green elf mana ramp deck that I put Eldrazi monsters into because I'm like,
why not? Yeah.
Why the fuck not? Put this shit in here. This is unfucking beatable. Just put a bunch of Priest of Titania and like shit. Like fuck you, man. You can't get out of this crap. I'm gonna pull out a 12/12 on turn 4 or some shit.
Right.
Oh, how horrible. But like, yeah, it was basically Eldrazi got a little bit too intense, and it drove me out of it a little bit because it was where do we go from here? Now.
Yeah.
Oh, and Eldrazi ruined Mill.
Yes. Yeah. The hey, I'm noticing a bunch of people I'm familiar with in the chat.
Yeah.
And I just want to give them a shout out and tell them to throw some shekels to her for hosting me and helping share her platform with me. I appreciate that.
To be fair, it's not my normal platform. I have been banned from normal YouTube, so this is my alternative channel. But
wait, what? When did that happen?
I got a community, or not a community guideline strike, a copyright strike, so I can't stream my normal channel. This is actually my secondary channel.
Oh, you mean I thought you were banned entirely.
No. But I was
that first strike is scary though, isn't it?
Huh? I'm sorry. Say again.
I said that first strike is scary though, isn't it?
It sure is, and also it's complete bullshit. YouTube basically, okay, here's the funsy thing. YouTube said, yes, we recognize that you're allowed to, by US law, contest the copyright claim. However, we did not forward it to the Thai company that supposedly claimed it.
What the hell?
Yeah, they broke the law, essentially. And I've been talking to YouTube about it, and they're and with the Thai company. The Thai company apparently can't even... Like, they don't even know how to rescind it at this point, because it was YouTube that filed all of it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, YouTube just filed a bunch of legally restrictive shit on my channel in the name of another company.
Well, that's nice of them.
It is very nice of them. It's also, I think, illegal. But, go ahead. We'll see.
Yeah,
they'll get away with it, because of course they will.
What can you do, right?
Exactly.
That's the scary part about this platform, although...
Thank you for shekels, 3D Loki. Thank you for all of those shekels.
I was talking.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming on. By the way, this is very impromptu.
No way. This is I'm just trying to maintain fangirling over here, so I appreciate you having me on. But it's really interesting the way this whole YouTube economy works, and how they just keep. So without getting too deep into the whole monetization, copyright stuff, I've always said it was really convenient that they started rolling out more aggressive demonetization around the time that they also rolled out live chat, something they take like fucking 30% of or something, so absurdly high percentage. And so people have to find more and more interesting or more and more creative ways to try and continue to use this platform, but also like rely as little as possible on it. It's a crazy dance.
Pretty much, because yeah, they've basically made it impossible to make. And this is the interesting thing. They've made it more or less impossible to make money off of YouTube for anybody who's not, I don't know, doing Spider-Man Elsa porn.
I know.
So
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine what those two young gentlemen's checks were probably per month on that channel? Holy shit!
Sure,
like 10, 20 million views every video.
They were making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands. Yeah. I was running that. I was running some numbers with some other like YouTube friends of mine. I was like, come on. Like they were making, by my estimation, $100,000 a week.
Oh my God. Big ass dollar dudes.
If they were, I mean, think about too, they were, now they've been, you know, that channel, all that stuff's been demonetized, but like, you think like our CPM sad? The opposite end of the spectrum is theirs. They're probably getting $10 to $15 CPMs.
Pretty much,
because they're family friendly.
A quote, family friendly.
I mean,
course, right?
Yeah, it's these channels. It's like the new, you know, every new tablet has a kid's tablet, like the Amazon Fire tablet for kids. Then there's the Kindle for kids, and they use these like kids only apps, and then when they're browsing YouTube, like they can only see this part of YouTube, but that's who people want to run commercials for.
Well, because their
advertisers pay a fortune.
Right. Their crazy, insane, pseudo-sexual videos are considered advertiser friendly, so that's fine. Alrighty.
Yeah, that's so creepy too. I couldn't even. I remember when Ethan and Neela were like memeing on it. I was like, this is weird. You know, and then I just don't know how. I don't understand how kids even watch it.
Well, it's because some people have this shit set up where it's just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to put my kids in front of the iPad all day and let them fucking go at it. So, here you go.
Yeah, that's the thing. The babysitter, right? Like, that's what they do.
Jesus Christ. As horrible as it is there anything else you think we should talk about? Because I had this other video, but I think it'd be hard to go over.
No. Yeah, I'll let you do your thing.
No. I'm asking because this is the highlight of the fucking stream. And by the way, very nice to talk to you. Because we've not spoken before, and you know, it's always nice to talk to anybody on this, whatever. Oh shit! I'm jelly of that Ravnica box, man. Oh, that's my shit. Oh my God, too. Ugh.
Yeah, I have these. I have to do these videos later tonight, but one of the boxes I'm opening is Ravnica that I've got.
That's a great set.
Something else.
So much. My whole thing is Black Blue Mill is my bae.
In Return to Ravnica, there was this 1/3/4 flyer. That had this. What was the ability called? Was it Cipher? I forget what it's called, but when they do damage, they mill. But this like creature, it would be played face down underneath your creature, and then you could like, not only were you milling them, but you could also play their cards, which was pretty hilarious.
You know, one of the things that's interesting that I like about mill so much is that I like it because. And control. I'm not so a fan of control as mill. I'll put control elements into a mill deck, but I love the idea of playing super defensively, of just not even having anything of. It's just like a.
But you're a black player when you play chess, then, huh? You like.
Yes.
You prefer, yeah.
Oh! When I get to pick who goes first, I choose second.
Yeah, right. I'll rock that French defense and just say hang back and.
No, because I want to see what you do first. That's the whole. And I know, like, my judge friend was like, "What the fuck? Nobody ever chooses to go second." And I said, "I do, because I want to get into my opponent's head to understand what they do first, and I want the first card draw. But you know, I more than anything, I want to be able to see what they do first, even if it's just playing a land. Of course, it usually is. But you know, I just want to get into their head a little bit in a way that I'm not going to do if I go first.
Yeah, I mean, I consider you diabolical and evil, but I mean, I think that's, you know, that's one way to play the game, I suppose.
Mill is the most. It's interesting because it's the most non-aggressive and at the same time the most aggressive way to play Magic. Yeah. They've
added some new cards that make mill like a more viable strategy too. So there's
Oh, I mean,
come
like,
on back.
It depends.
Come on back
It
to the
depends.
game.
It depends. Like if we're playing, if we're playing EDH, I'll still play a mill and an EDH style deck.
Oh, I bet you people love you.
I'm well loved. But I mean, no, like, but that was expensive. Like getting like 4 Glimpse the Unthinkables. That fucking cost. Jesus.
Yeah.
Not cheap. That kind of shit
Magic
is not easy.
Crack isn't cheap.
Crack is not cheap. But yeah, that's the whole thing. I think that if we could end this on anything, it's that, yeah, this woman who seems super upset, right?
Yeah.
Which is the crux of all this. She's very upset, and she's being driven out of the community because people are mean to her.
Well,
Really?
allegedly, right?
Right,
I mean,
allegedly mean to
she
her.
provided no evidence outside of a spicy video, which was taken down and community struck. Thanks for that, Dix.
Yeah, fine.
And
Oops, excuse me.
even what's hilarious, that video was deemed advertiser friendly.
The whole thing is, though, like, what, again, this is what the fuck. So right now, so this stream can now stand as evidence of a woman who plays Magic and clearly knows a lot about Magic, not only not being upset, but having none of these similar experiences. And if your whole weird life understanding is about lived experiences, well, here you go.
Yeah, well, I feel like I haven't done a good enough job of pressing or harassing you, though. Now I'm really regretting that now.
Ask me, what, you want to ask me some shit?
Well, no, I feel like I have to harass.
Go ahead.
I need to be more representative here. I'm trying to think.
Represent the average Magic player by harassing me sexually. that's
I wouldn't.
I mean, that's
I
how
wouldn't
we
know
are,
where to
right?
start.
You just gotta be like, show tits, show Bob and
Yeah.
Jr. Like, okay.
Should you be in the kitchen?
Oh, I'm gonna be in the kitchen making a sandwich right now. Oh wait, no, I'm helping. No, I'm facilitating. I have internalized misogyny. Look, the whole fact of the matter is this is insanity. It's stupidity, and as we are both very well aware, as anyone in the chat is aware, the Magic community, such as it is not sexist. Generally speaking, you will always find a weirdo, autistic person, or socially inept person who doesn't know how to deal with a woman or a man. Honestly, they don't know how to deal with
Well, you know
humans.
what? The way I always put it, and I'll let you do your thing, but the way I put it is like, this is in my response to Kotaku, which I'm sure they won't portray me favorably. There's 12 million Magic players. Like, of course, there's sexists that play our game. You know what? There's probably pedophiles and there's probably rapists, and there might even be a murderer. Like, it's just the law of big numbers, right? I mean, like, or even the law of averages. Like, there's but it's no worse than any other thing. We're just a big cross section of society.
Yeah, well, you're speaking to a social scientist, so I'm very well aware. I think you're completely correct, and that is always, of course, the law of statistical averages. There will be weirdos and horrible people in any group. There is no reason to believe that Magic or Warhammer or comics or any group would be more or less prone or have a greater proclivity towards this type of individual. I mean, unless you're in like a skin, like a skin lamp shade making group, and maybe then.
Yeah, they may have a hobby or two that's specific to them.
But outside of that, Magic is not a it's not a gendered based. I mean, really, like, it's not even like when people talk shit about Warhammer, they say like, oh well, there's no women armies, even though there clearly are. With Magic, there's nothing even approaching that. I mean, there's plenty of cards that are female, but there's not like there's even a leader. You can just be, even within the lore of Magic, you're the idea is that you're summoning all of these creatures and spells. You can be whoever you prefer to be if you want to actually get into the lore and the role playing, which I don't know many people who do, but I guess.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the whole point of fantasy. I mean, like, that's, when people get upset about inclusion in fantasy games, it's like the least strong case they can make. Like, this is literally a world where you can be anything and do anything, and if you're being limited, it's by your own imagination.
Sure. Yeah, you're a planeswalker essentially. You're playing your own. You are whoever you wish to be. You're summoning your own cards. There is nothing that's preventing you from being whatever you want. And again, I can only speak from anecdote, but I have never been discouraged in any way from participating in Magic. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me today on this very impromptu stream late at night. But
yeah, thank
you.
Me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you to the chat, and thank you to everybody. I hope that we covered some of the things that might have maybe people had been wondering. And I hope that I was able to give a little bit of a different perspective that may have been missing in terms of both being a female and a cosplayer of this shit's fucking retarded, essentially. Anyway, thank you again, and Jeremy, thank you. I'm gonna close out the stream real quick.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, talk to you later. All right, bye everybody. Talk to you.